Hi, this is Zak Mir with the Bulletin Board Heroes here at Zak's Traders Cafe for Thursday, the 19th of February. Starting off with the FTSE 100, which did what we wanted it to do, which was break that line there at 10,570. Above that, we've been looking for up to 11,000 as soon as the end of next month. Obviously, we come back a bit today, and maybe we'll come back a bit more back towards that line, but at least while we're above that, 11,000 on the cards. Worst case at the moment, if there's some sort of Trump tantrum or war somewhere, then down to the uptrend line there from back in November, currently just shy of 10,400. Moving along to the DAX, and here this market also making moves, but getting stuck at the old, the recent 25,200 resistance. Need to get back above that to give us a new move up to 25,800, which is a May resistance line projection. Ideally, any rug pull will go down no lower or go towards the 50-day moving average at 24,700. Moving on to the Dow, and here you see that we're in firmly ensconced within that rising trend channel from the end of November. Let's say the floor of the channel there level with the 50-day moving average, so we call that around 48,900, and above that looking for the top of the channel as high as 51,000, hopefully sometime before the end of next month. We're looking for much more than that, but at the moment that's the first target there on this market. RSI 50 plus extended rebound there, so it does look decent in terms of the prospects for at least a move to 51,000 while we're above the 49,000 area. Moving along to the cryptos, and fears that we were in a bear flag or a continuation to the downside so far look as though they're correct, although we haven't actually broken down yet. 65,000, the recent support in the middle of the month, and so far we haven't had the end of day close back below that, which would give us the move down to the floor of the channel as low as 55,000. It does look like the market is at least thinking about having a retest of the old summer 2024 support there towards 52,000, which would obviously not be very nice. And we're on our way towards that while there's no end of day close back below recent post bounce, post dead cat bounce resistance at 72,000. Ethereum is next, and here also struggling, but staying within the recent ranges. So call it 1900 to 2150. Obviously, one can trade that range. Still, with the RSI in the low 30s, got the risk of a move down to the floor of the channel there, 1700. Above 2150, then there's a chance of resistance on the way down at 2400. But at the moment, that seems a long way away. Gold is next, and here the position is that we are within that rising trend channel from back in November 24, top of the channel there, heading for what's actually at 51.80 and or 85, in fact. Below that, we've got the risk of a test of the 50-day moving average at 46.90. And as we've had on 3 occasions in the recent past, since the start of the year, the 50-day line has been the place to place a limit order and hope that the market bounces back from there. We've had 2 or 3 RSI 50 rebounds in the recent past, so still the glass technically half full rather than half empty. So above the 50-day line, looking for the up to 5,200 at least initially. Moving on to the stocks, and Atlantic Lithium has come up with the goods, especially if I can type in the right stock. Here you can see that we've managed to blast through our second target there, the first target there, 13, the second one at 17 and above 17. We're looking for basically further glories, which come in the form of resistance on the way down up there at 25 pence from back in the spring of 2024. So I'm going to add in that particular target there, target line there at 25, which is 25 and 3/4, and looking for that as soon as the end of next month, especially while we're above the 17 pence level. You can see that since the end of December, the RSI has been at or above, or actually above the RSI 50 level continuously, which underlines the strength that this stock has at the moment, or at least up until now. Next on the list is Cora and Cora Gold, and here, obviously, you expect the shares to be doing well at this time. What's interesting at the moment is that we managed to bounce on a rising 50-day moving average. That's around 8 pence. Above that, looking for the shares to fill the gap up to 10 and 3/4 pence, hopefully in the next week or two. But obviously, the top of the range and the top of the channel there at 12 pence, something to shoot for over the next 4 to 6 weeks, perhaps. Ideally, we stay above 8 pence, whatever happens. On to Crism, which I don't think anybody looks at, but here we have managed to capture its movement well. We broke a line of resistance there at 10 pence and breaking the November resistance there at 14, looking for the top of the recent range as high as 23, maybe up to 26 pence by the end of next month. Looking pretty decent, especially once that 200-day line starts curving up as well. Ideally, now we stay on the right side of the recent broken resistance at 15 pence, heading for 25 or 26. On to Connecting Excellence, where after a rather soggy start, it looks as though we may have some interest here at the lower levels or from the lower levels. Recent price action around 1.2 pence has been broken. We went lower for February, but the RSI is actually higher, so that's bullish divergence. So looking for perhaps after 2 pence, a return to 2 pence or 1.8 to 2 pence by the end of next month. Let's see if that rather ambitious call actually delivers. A stock where we've been ambitious and it's proved to be the right thing to do has been Delta Gold. Been on this basically since the start, and actually reminds me a bit of Guardian Metal, which is interesting because Pure Bond are in or were in both stocks. They've just gone into Delta Gold. So obviously these people seem to be geniuses. The recent target there, target line there up to 30, above 30. We've been looking for 43 pence now, and best case now by the end of next month up to 53 pence, which is the top of that rising trend channel shown in lilac since the end of December. So I'm just trying to make that a bit more clear. And you can see that basically, if I get rid of the other target there, we've got a rising trend channel heading for the low 50s. And looking for that certainly while we're above recent broken resistance at 36 pence. Onto a stock which I don't think anybody's heard of, even the company itself, which is Dillstone. I'm not sure I'm going to be covering it again for a long time, but I thought I'd put it in there. Initial target here was the top of the broadening triangle there at 13 pence. Above that, looking for a punchy upper parallel of that resistance line there from 2024 as high as 19 pence, maybe over the next couple of months. It's a punchy call, but it's quite a punchy chart there, heading into a golden cross with the 50 and 200-day lines rising. Recent support around 10 pence and basically above that, looking for the shares to basically rise as they fell back in 2023. Moving along to perhaps a more risky situation, although it's difficult to sort of say exactly what risk is in these markets. We've got Deltic, and here we've got a rising trend channel base. We've broken above the 50-day moving average at 3.2 pence. This is the third day we're above it. Also broken above RSI 50 with a couple of bounces as well. So it looks as though we're on our way above 3.2, looking for up to 5.4 pence as soon as the end of next month. Punchy call, but that's where we are. If you're cautious, you wait for an end of day close through recent resistance at 3.77 pence, which was the January peak. Moving along to 88 Energy, which after horrors in the past seems to be ready to have a move. We've pushed up today. Looks like we're in a rising trend channel there. Obviously, there's not much data to go on. We had the big blip from last May. But the top of the channel there, 1.75, maybe that's a 2 to 3 month target while we're on the right side of a penny. Going from one extreme to the other in terms of market cap, Greatland Resources. And here, even though we're consolidating in a range between £6 and £7, we are in a rising trend channel. Top of the channel there heading for £8.20, which I suppose would be a 2 month target, especially while we remain above the 50-day line. We can use that as an end of day close stop loss at 5.89. The other point to note is that the RSI has been wholly above the 50 level since the end of November, which is a long, long time. And we've just had an RSI 50 rebound. So even though the shares look a bit flabby at the moment, I think that they could manage a bit of a revival maybe once they find a new COO. Inspiration is next, and we certainly need it. Here you can see that we've broken through a rising 200-day moving average, couple of 3 or 4 RSI 50 plus rebounds. Both 50 and 200-day lines both rising, so we're heading into golden cross, and that means that we're relatively confident we can head up to 27 pence, while we're above the 200-day line at 20 pence by the end of next month. 27 pence derived from the top of that broadening triangle from back in May. Don't normally look at Kistos, but here we are. We've seen the shares bounce off our previous target there, which was around the £2.30 level, above £2.30, looking for the upper parallel of that rising trend channel from back in 2024. That's heading for up to £3.15. Looking for that perhaps by the end of April, while we remain above recent support, especially the £2.30 area, but maybe have to allow for down to £2.20 on that, even though we've just had an RSI 50 rebound on the shares, which tends to be a decent leading indicator. The second stock from the Aquis market is Ormonde. The first one, obviously, Delta Gold. And here you can see that we're consolidating either side of our previous target there at 0.35. That's the top of a rising trend channel base. And the longer we stay above 0.3, giving it a bit of wiggle room, the greater the chance of a move to 0.5, which was the old pre-2023 breakdown level or support level for the shares. Interesting to see PR1 or priority revive itself at the moment. We've had this sort of extended base for the shares. And what's interesting now is that we gap through the 50-day moving average. We've also got the 50-day line rising. When you see the 50-day line rising near the lows, tends to be a positive reversal situation. Initial target here up to the 200-day moving average of 2.95, which I think most holders would take. Obviously, the main resistance here at 5.5 pence, but let's see if we can get through that 200-day line first, and ideally stay above the recent broken resistance at 2.35. Probably the stop loss here would be around the 2.15 level. Don't normally look at Star Energy. I don't think anybody else does either, but managed to hit our first target there at 10 pence, second one there at just under 13 pence, and now looking for post 2023 resistance at 20 pence to be hit as soon as the end of next month. So really strong candles there for the shares. So above 10, looking for 20 on that particular situation. Finally, seeing Switch Metals manage to push higher. Here we had an initial target here at 13 pence. Second target, doesn't look much to shoot for, actually, 17 pence. Hopefully we'll get that in coming days, and then it will be my job to try and find the next target here for the stock. Probably something along the lines of the line I'm just about to draw at the moment, which would be a resistance line projection heading for the 22 pence area, and maybe that's a target for the end of next month while we remain above 13 pence. Finishing off with UOG, which after 9 years of patient trying, looks as though it's giving the impression it may be finally on its way, at least from a technical perspective. We spotted the break of the resistance line there from June around 0.14. The main issue now is to get through the 0.2 or 0.21 area, which is sticky resistance, and get up to as high as 0.28 by the end of next month. Fundraisers, bad news, and just general bad luck permitting, because obviously that has been one of the issues with the company. But we've got 3 clear RSI 50 rebounds over the last month, so hopefully even UOG can't make a mess of that setup. That's it for me today. More updates tomorrow.